and welcome to 3 of Skeins Knit and Crochet Podcast, number 78. Hi, I'm Lisa.
I'm Chris. You look very stitchy today with the tape measure. I wish I knew we were doing tape measures.
I just had to measure my sleeves, so I'm still in work mode. So, Chris, what do you want to talk about today?
I don't know. You have a list. Like, why are you acting
Okay,
like...
I meant, what do you want to talk about first? Let me be specific.
We usually start with whips, so let's stay whipping.
Okay, you have a new whip, so let's lead with that.
Okay. Oh, I should have brought my old one, but okay. There's a story here.
Okay.
See, what had happened was, as some of you may know, I am remaking some things that I've made previously that, I didn't use, like the greatest yarn, and I'm trying to make them out of, nicer yarns, because I like these things enough that I would still like to wear them, but I just not with the acrylic these days because of a bad experience. So I made this shawl called the Bolt Shawl. It's like so close. I feel like I could get it. Okay, I'll get it.
Okay. You know what? These things happen.
I meant to, and then I forgot, and okay. So here's the shawl. I'm rethinking the tassels, though. I think I'm gonna take those off. But it's this cute little chevron thing.
That is cute.
And then, it narrows because you're using stitches of different heights. But the yarn I used is Loops and Threads Wool-like from Michaels. It's not at all like wool.
No.
It's an acrylic nylon. And you know what? It's not even that bad. It's not even that bad. It's just kind of droopy, saggy kind of. And I wanted something that would hold itself together a little bit better.
Yeah.
So because this pattern was supposed to use like back loop stitches,
Yeah.
and I ended up not doing it with this, so I don't get the texture that it's supposed to have, because this yarn was so droopy that if you did back loop, it just, yeah. So I decided I wanted to make this shawl again, and I'm using Thirsty Cat yarn, and in these 3 colors I have a gray tonal, a black and white speckle, and then a black tonal. Right? So I was going to stay in the neutral family. I was going to add a little gray in and kind of like just keep it very similar to the original, but this is a sock yarn, so it's a wool nylon.
Yeah. That's going to bounce back very nicely.
So I started it. I started the Bolt Shawl. The pattern is from a book of crochet shawls that I'll link to because I can't remember the name, but I know the designer's name is Beth Nielsen.
Okay.
And I start getting like really bored. As I'm working on it, I'm just like, because now following a pattern is basically I want to repeat. I have it memorized, so it's county, but it's not at all difficult. And so I'm just stitching away, and I'm just like
boring.
Yes. And I finally, like around a third of the way through the shawl, I just hit this wall, and I'm just like, not another stitch, because I was so bored, and I feel like I have this thing where I feel like boredom isn't a valid reason not to make a project.
But it is.
I know, in theory it is, but nothing was going wrong. It was just coming out just fine.
Can we see it?
No, I'm gonna tell you why.
Oh! Okay, now I gotta hear the rest of the story. So, what time did it happen?
I feel like you're getting in grown folk business right now. Okay, if it happened after you went to bed, it ain't your business. I was just like, I'm not gonna make this shawl. I just finally decided to just admit I just didn't want to make the same shawl again.
Okay.
So I was playing around with some yarn. I've talked about the fact that I'm a little intimidated about designing shawls. It seems weird because I've like made like all these garments, but I just feel like shawls involve too many decisions, and I don't know where to start. But I picked up this knitting book that we have, something about modular shawls. We'll link to it. Okay. And I just understood like where you put your increases to create, a triangle shawl, and I was just like, all right, I'm gonna try it. So I started playing around with the technique, and I made this swatch. Bonk. How cute is she?
Turn her over so she looks like a triangle shawl. There you go.
Yeah,
She's
isn't that
adorable.
cute? And I was like, yo, I really like this. This is all single crochet. Now, if I don't know if you can tell, she's a little wobbly. And that is because in the center, this pink part is just straight single crochet, but the color work is linen stitch. And linen stitch is just much tighter.
Yeah.
So it's pulling in closer for this section. So I decided to just, next time I try it, to do all linen stitch. Turns out doing linen stitch in a triangle shape is actually quite simple. So I just do two increases on either side. So at the center and the edge, and at the center and the edge on both sides, 4 increases per row, and I'm getting like an actual freaking triangle. Look at her.
And you know what? If you want to keep it single crochet in the center, try going down hook sides.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about. But I hate switching hook sizes while I'm working. I don't know why. There's absolutely no reason. It shouldn't make any difference at all which hook I pick up. But especially if I'm changing colors, right? But
no, okay, not a problem.
So I just switched to all linen crochet so that the gauge would be even. And I just, that shawl that I had started, I ripped it out. And I started it again. So let me show you what I have now.
Oh, this is very exciting.
This is going to be like the actual shawl.
Oh, look at you.
Look at that.
Oh, that's cool.
So those are, you see the 3 colors, but then I added, I don't know if you can really see that it's a sparkly yarn. So it's actually pretty much the same gray almost.
Oh,
So,
but it sparkles on the edges.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, this is, there we go. So you can see those 2 yarns. Almost. There we go. They're very similar in color, but this one, so this is in acrylic and polyester, but I'm not making a garment, so that is okay. So those sections where I'm doing the 2 colors, it's going to be the sparkle yarn.
Love it.
It's tiny now. But she's gonna be a shawl when she grows up. And I could not be more excited. I'm making a triangle shawl. I'm making my first triangle shawl. Oh my god. Not my first one that I've ever made, my first one that I've ever designed.
Exactly.
Oh my god. I feel like a grown up.
Love it. I love the color combination too.
So I'm sticking with the neutral because I think that's gonna be cute and go with a lot of different outfits. But look at it. So that's my whip right now. That's what I'm working on, and I'm very, very excited. In case you couldn't tell.
Whoa. Okay, so that was an adventure. Okay. All right.
We see it like no. See what happened was.
I am coming into the home stretch of my weekender. I am so ready to be done with my sweater. As I told you guys last week, I am working on the sleeves 2 at a time. I have my tape measure on because I just measured to see where I stand with the sleeves. I have 14 inches of sleeve going.
Are you going to do this ribbing at the end of the sleeve too?
Yeah. Well, the sleeve, including the ribbing, is 22 inches total.
Okay.
So
you're
I
like 2/3 there.
Yeah, I'm just about there. Very happy with it. You can see my my decreases all marked all the way down the sleeve. So the sleeves are going to be the same length. Ain't that something?
That's a feature.
Yeah, they're going to be the same length and they're going to be decreased at the same intervals.
Although technically we probably all have a longer arm.
I know, right? But since it's not like noticeable, I don't mind if the sleeves are slightly different, but I've made some things that were radically different. But that's I'm so glad. It's like it's coming to fruition. It's not cold anymore.
I know I'm making a wool shawl right now, but you got to go with the idea that comes to you.
Exactly. And it's not like the cold doesn't come back every single year. And this will be my cozy run around sweater that I'll wear with my leggings and just cavort. all through the winter.
Plans cavorting?
Planned cavortation. And when I'm done, because it was primarily done in the round, all I have to do is weave in a few ends. And I've been doing magic knots, so I might just snip some threads and, let the knots
weaving
live.
in ends is so overrated. And there are a few people who are just like, that's the right way to do it. I will knot a yarn in a heartbeat. Yeah. And here's the funny thing. I be mad as heck when there's a knot in my yarn.
Yeah, you only want the knots you put
exactly.
in. But I'm the same
my
way.
knots, not your knots.
Don't let me find a knot in the middle of a skein. I'm mad. So Crystal, I heard you might have a pip.
What do I have?
I don't know. I thought you had a pip going.
Well, this was the pip.
Oh, and then it became a thing.
Yes, this was my project in planning, which was my pip. And then later that night, she went from pip to whip. From the pip to whip pipeline. Okay, now we have the start of a shawl. 2
hours later. Well, I have a pip because, I'm coming in, pulling into the station on one project. So, of course, I have to be thinking about getting started on another project.
Do you though?
I do. That's just how I roll. So okay, let me tell you how this got going. Basically, I knew I wanted to do some summer tops. I bought summer yarn, and I was like, oh, what summer tops am I gonna do? Well, recently I put all of my magazines into my Ravelry, and I did a video showing how to search just within the patterns you already own, because it turns out I own many, 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 many patterns. And I found the perfect top for my yarn. So here she is. And look at me. I even marked the page ahead of time.
Oh, look at you. Oh my God.
So I'm not going to have to rifle through the whole book.
It only took till episode 78.
That's all. So I will be making, it's called the Shaped Lace Tee in this book. This is knitting lingerie style. Now, I've had this book since it came out.
By who?
By
Joan McGowan Michael.
Joan McGowan Michael. But I absolutely love it. Let me see if I can find a better picture.
That's cute.
Isn't that adorable? And here is my yarn. It just happened to be yes.
Oh, that's gonna be nice.
That's gonna be very nice. And I will be just adding my own little twist by outlining the edges with this darker color, which I think will give it a nice little pop. And this yarn is Sanders Garn Lena.
And is it linen cotton or just linen?
It's a linen cotton and viscose mix. Yep. And it's actually mostly cotton. So it's going to be cool, it's going to be comfortable, and it's going to be...
But the linen will keep it from stretching.
Yeah.
We got to go back to Mother Knitter. I liked it.
Me too. You and me both. So, and funny enough, right? Remember we were talking about how we were both kind of interested in making like leggings? What did I discover in my search through patterns I already own using Ravelry? There's a pair of leggings in this book. So if you want to take a look just to get an idea of how it might, a way to put them together, feel free. But yes, there's a pattern for leggings right here. So I already own a pattern for leggings.
None of us really needs to buy patterns.
Yeah.
Ever again.
Unless something really cool comes down the pipe. But I'm really happy that I took the time to go ahead and enter all my books. And Ravelry made it very, very easy to do. I mean, with the magazines, there's an app you can download and just scan the barcodes. So on the newer magazines, you can do it that way. But I did a little tutorial. The video will be up by the time you guys see this video. Take a look for it. I will link to it in somewhere. There'll be a little box with it floating around. But I'm really excited. So I've rediscovered a little treasure trove of patterns I already have. And there's all sorts of things in here, including the most beautiful bras, which I will not be knitting. I don't feel the need to knit a bra. But definitely we'll be making the top. So knitting lingerie style. So that's my tip. That's what's coming down the pike. And yes, there's going to be a sketch. Crystal at least will enjoy it. Oh my word. Oh, but in other news, I am going to be teaching at Vogue Knitting this June. It's June 9th through 11th. That's a weekend. And I'll be leading class.
And it's virtual.
Yeah, it's totally virtual, so you can attend from home, which personally I like. I'm going to be leading How to Work a Pattern. I will be leading Bind Off Loosely Like a Pro, and I will be leading a new class, Sweater Savvy, How to Make a First Sweater That Fits. So I will link to that in the description bar. Check it out. It should be a fun time, and there will also be a marketplace, and there's going to be other events that are also done virtually.
So I was wearing a little t-shirt last episode, and we had a question about it. And y'all are lucky because if it wasn't for Ravelry, I wouldn't have been able to tell you where the heck that that t-shirt came from. All I knew was a magazine. That's all I had, but I was able to search through Ravelry patterns that just from magazines. Turns out it was the Tide Pool Tank by Angela Plunkett, and it is from the summer 2017 issue of Interweave Crochet. I did make one modification. The pattern, it was all double crochet. I did linked double crochet so that it wouldn't be see-through. But yes, that is what I was wearing last episode. In this episode, I am wearing the overtime top, which is a handkerchief hem top that I made out of some cotton from the Ito brand. I believe it's called Gima 8.5.
Yeah,
and
that was it.
And this is an original design, so. Because people ask. Like, I don't know what I was wearing in that episode, but there you go.
So Ravelry saves the day again. Oh, now it's time for a word from our sponsor. We are our own sponsor, so please like and subscribe.
I was like, we have a sponsor? You didn't tell me? Lord of mercy.
I would have been so excited. I would have told you. But yeah, do like and subscribe. If you know somebody who'd like our content, please share. We're trying to get to 1,000 subscribers, and we are just over 550 now. So let's push. Let's push. I know she's mortified now. She's like, ah.
Okay, moving on. So last week we were talking about some happenings in the industry, and now there's an even bigger happening in the industry.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I don't know if everybody's heard yet, but Stitches Events has closed.
Well, the company that owns it, XRX.
Yes, XRX has closed. And according to the statement on their website, they're shutting down everything. They are liquidating all of their assets, they say, and they will be going into bankruptcy. So that means no more Stitches events, no more Stitches at home. There was just a Stitches event in April. There was supposed to be one, I think it's next week. And there was also one scheduled for June, and all of those things are canceled now. All their events going forward, according to their statement.
When Lisa first told me about this, my reaction was I really just wasn't surprised. I just felt like XRX was very staid. They failed to modernize.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I'm not like happy that they're going out of business. I'm just saying I'm not surprised because I just don't think they adapted very well to the changing market. And then, of course, you know, the pandemic didn't help anyone.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I just felt like I couldn't understand what it was they were doing, what direction they were going in. I know a lot of they had like retreat type events.
Yeah.
Those were expensive. And I guess perhaps the price was in keeping with what most retreats are.
Yeah.
But
your average retreat is a minimum of $1,000.
Oh no, the ones I looked at were like $2,200.
Yeah, I'm saying that's the minimum price.
I was just like, if you can afford that, I cannot. For something that doesn't include your transportation and doesn't include all of your meals, it's not like it's all inclusive.
Your classes, yeah.
Well, their retreats, you picked one class, and that was what was included.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a tough market for the craft business. A lot of crafting is very hands-on, but if you can't travel, and the cost of travel has gone up. Some people are not traveling, to stay safe, and it's a big adjustment. I don't know how you get people to come out in the same numbers these days, compared to just a few years ago.
When I was looking at people talking about it, that was one of the things that people who do vending said, that the crowds were smaller, but they also weren't spending as much. So even though 2023 presented slightly larger crowds than 21 and 22, people just weren't spending as much. And hey, we're in a recession. Every single thing that we buy, the price has increased.
A lot,
yes. So there's just less disposable income.
I just saw a hardcover novel for $32. I was like, who are you talking to?
What you talking about, Willis?
Just no. But yeah, especially, I don't know how they were accounting for those increased costs. They were raising their prices,
right?
But every time you raise your price, I feel like you cut down on your audience. You cut down on the number of people who have enough money to pay the new price, even if they're really excited about the event.
Right.
I don't think just raising prices is the best way to raise profits. And I don't know what else they were doing. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know, because I know their publishing arm shut down a few years ago.
Exactly, and I don't know what they were doing with those patterns.
I don't know.
Because they must have, they were publishing for a long time.
Yeah, they started out as a publishing company.
A back catalog, and I guess those are among the assets they are liquidating. I don't know what that means for those designers.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that back catalog of patterns still has value.
Yeah.
But who will receive the benefit of that value now? Who knows? So it's just unfortunate, because they're not like selling their company to someone else. They're out of business.
Yeah, it doesn't even sound like that is a consideration. The way
it doesn't.
The statement, I'll link to the statement in the description bar, but the way the statement was written, it's like
we're just done.
We're done. It's been 32 years or 40 years, something like that, and we're out at this point. So, like I said, I really thought that they were in better shape, just
because they were having so many events.
Yeah.
That's what I assumed.
And they switched, which surprised me. They switched to digital events very quickly, and for the company that tried to sell stitch chips, I thought that was saying something. And
still seemed like their focus was on live events.
Yes. And the one digital event I did attend, I thought it was well done. In terms of how the technology worked, how you were able to receive the goodie box and all of that, I thought they did a good job. So I thought that they had sort of started to turn very, very, very slowly. But I don't think...
a lot of companies, they didn't do a lot to market to crocheters. And I still say that's at your peril, but I'm biased. Clearly.
That's another thing I'm seeing in the industry too, that now people are starting to notice, hey, there are crocheters. It's little things, but it's not enough at this point, because it's ridiculous that every yarn focus retreat doesn't have a track.
The only one that ever had a balance was that combination event by the Knit and Crochet Guilds.
Yeah.
But the Knitting Guild had to restructure, and I don't know what's going on with the Crochet Guild, because I was just taking a look at that. We'll take this thing by thing. Let's talk about their Instagram first. Their Instagram is a horror show.
I'll link to it.
It is all just
allegedly
weird little sayings. They're just posting little pictures of, questions they might ask people, or just like crochet cheerleading, but nothing, no yarn, no highlighting teachers, no patterns, no publications, no yarn events. They're just not talking about anything. It's just like this weird little clown show. And I'm just like, I don't know who this is for. I don't know who benefits from what they're posting on Instagram. TikTok, they had a few posts last year. All of their posts were by one person. I guess they were like leading up to their annual conference, and so they were highlighting some of the teachers, and then that stopped. But the main thing is that they don't seem to be having their crochet conference this year. So every year they have an event called the Chainlink Conference.
Yeah.
And it's usually at the end of July. It's now mid-May, and there's nothing. There isn't even like a stay tuned. So it looks to me as of right now like the Chainlink Conference isn't happening this year, which is.
And didn't they have it last year, like in New Orleans or something?
They did. They had it last year, and I believe they had it in 2020. I don't see anything online about 2021, so I don't know what happened that year. But there's just nothing, not a single word about a Chainlink Conference happening this year. And I'm worried that the Crochet Guild is going the way of XRX.
Yeah.
Because on their website, they were offering some online classes on their website. The last class they had was from February of this year, and then nothing. Their blog has not been updated since last year. I mean, what's happening?
An actual organization, or are they all volunteer run?
They are a nonprofit, but you know, they still had activity. Yeah, they were still like doing things, and now I'm just like, they seem to be dying in front of our eyes. If they don't have their big event, which seems to be like the main way they made money, I don't know that there is still a functional crochet guild at this point.
I don't know. It was very strange when I looked at their Instagram and saw what it was. I was like, oh,
it was colorful.
That is not even one picture of crochet though.
No,
of crochet anything.
No.
So I don't know if any of you guys are members of the Crochet Guild or active members, let us know what's going on with that, because on social media they're dead. I mean, they're not. There's nothing.
On their website.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. But I'm just wondering, do they have staff? That's what I was wondering.
I'm sure they have like a core staff, and then maybe for the conference they would have volunteers and things, but I don't know what's happening, and it's just unfortunate.
Oh, you know what? Mom was telling me too that the CEO of Joann's just retired. Retired. She said it with quotes. Apparently they were kind of encouraged to leave because they're trying to change direction now too. It's tough right now.
It is.
It is tough right now.
It really is. I mean, props to anyone who's still making it, because it's a difficult market right now. There's so many forces beyond anyone's control, and it's really up in the air. It's anyone's guess as to what's coming next.
Yes.
So,
and how to navigate your way through it. I don't know if you are. It's like, let's look at the yarn stores. If you're the type of yarn store that depends on a lot of gatherings, how are you doing that now? And
yeah, you know, I'm wondering because Wool Bearers had a lot of events, and I'm wondering, I haven't like been following them, so I don't know, because she used to have that big yarn tasting every year. That was a huge thing, and I don't know if she's still doing that. So basically, there was a restaurant near her shop. The owner's name is Myra, and she had a big yarn tasting event every year where, you know, for your fee you got like samples of different yarns and people swatched, and it sounds like it, you know,
it sounds like fun.
Yeah,
and there was a lunch.
Yeah, it was very popular, but I don't know if she's still doing that. It's weird to see all of this happening, and I don't know, I'm just keeping my head down.
One by one, I'm seeing dyers are shutting down.
It's
think we just
affecting
heard-
everyone. It's yarn stores,
Mhm.
it's dyers, it's these big corporations like XRX. I mean, it's individual designers.
Yeah.
There's just no one immune.
Oh, and if you do want to check out the teachers that we're going to be teaching at the next few months, what is it called?
XRX.
Of XRX conferences, Stitches. Check out, I don't know.
Knitting Magazine?
Thank you. I don't know. My brain is just like fogged out right now. Knitting Magazine is going to be offering them some free advertising so that they can advertise their classes. And if you want to take their classes, you can sign up with them directly. Many of them are doing them through their website. So if you want to check out their classes and on a kind of very intimate scale, give that a try. Because there's a whole downline coming from this.
But yeah, that's the state of industry right now. What was that magazine? Yarn? Was it called Yarn Magazine, or there was a trade magazine?
Oh, that went out in
a few years ago.
2019, 2020 was the last time that got published.
I feel like they were the first domino.
Mm-hmm.
Yarn Market News. That's
Yarn
what it
Market
was called.
News, yeah.
And it was a really good magazine. But we'll see. I mean, that's all we can do. We're all just going to wait and see what happens. I wish everybody the best.
Mm-hmm.
I do my part. I buy yarn.
Yes. Oh, speaking of buying yarn, we are planning a little road trip to Forever Yarn in Doylestown.
27th and 28th.
Yeah, they're hosting La Bien Amie. So if you've ever wanted to see La Bien Amie yarn in person, they will be at Forever Yarn in Doylestown, Pennsylvania.
Because I feel like I need to see the yarn in person before I pay them prices.
You know, I've seen a little of it.
And this way there'd be no shipping
And
from Europe.
For me, she does this yellow that anytime I see it, I know it's her yellow. And somebody can pull it out of their bag and I'm like, that's La Bien Amie. Because I don't know what it's got this warm quality to it that is really just different from everybody else's yellow, and I don't know why I can always recognize it.
We also just heard about a crafty thrift store where you can buy crafting supplies. It's in Philadelphia. What's it, the Resource Center, I think it's called, something like that. So we're going to check that out. So when we go to the trunk show, when we go to the Resource Center, we'll do some blogs.
Yeah.
We'll do some vlogs and show you what all we discover.
Yeah. So this is some
So
exciting
keep an
stuff
eye
coming
out.
up.
That's coming.
I
We
think,
could check the list. Did we cover everything?
I think we covered everything.
Okay.
Except one more thing. Please like and subscribe.
Please like and subscribe so I don't have to live this anymore. Okay, I think that's it for today.
Yeah. Thank you for joining us. See you next time.
Stay stitching.